The Morpher is arguably the most important piece of technology in a Ranger's arsenal. It's the thing that literally makes them Power Rangers. Apart from, you know, the heart. Morphers are so cool. A unique piece of technology that through the power of magic and/or science transforms you into a Power Ranger. As a kid, and as an adult, these were the coolest things in the world. Doing the fun sequence and yelling out the morphing call in the slight hopes that maybe, just maybe, you will turn into the Red Ranger. Nothing warms my heart more. And throughout Power Rangers' 30 years of history, we've seen a ton of morphers, ranking from iconic and amazing to whatever this is. So today, we're gonna go through every single morpher in Power Rangers history and rank them all. I'm not too sure what my criteria is. We'll be ranking them on overall design in terms of how it relates to the season, how effective they are, considering 95% of the time the Rangers are heroes in hiding, and of course, just how cool they are. This is kind of the most important factor, honestly. It trumps everything else. So with that, let's begin our journey. The Power Morphers. I mean, come on. This is the morpher that comes to mind when people think of Power Rangers. It's such a unique design. Who would have ever thought that a belt buckle would be a cool weapon? The true power, though, comes from the Power Coins, forged by Ninjor and housing the strength of the ancient dinosaur, releasing its power when the owner shouts at the top of their lungs the name of their dinosaur. On paper, sounds silly. In execution, it always goes unbelievably hard. Seriously, put a Power Morpher in anyone's hands and they instinctively know how to hold it, and they cannot resist the urge to yell out a dinosaur. And you could pick any dinosaur. Let's try it out. It's Morphin time! Iguanodon! Yeah, see, it still feels good. Despite the Power Morphers being belt buckles, I guess the team always kept them in their back pockets, considering every time they morph, they put their hands behind their back. Which, yeah, isn't super effective if you need to morph at a moment's notice, but whatever, we can obviously look past that. The Power Morphers are an iconic staple, not just for Power Rangers, but a prominent symbol of the 90s. So putting them in anything other than S tier would be a disgrace. Alright, up next are the Zeonizers from Power Rangers Zeo. I'm not really a fan of these, to be honest. You see, the Zeonizers are powered by the Zeo Crystal, a mythical artifact. So these cool crystals now being turned into 2 wristwatches feels a little anticlimactic. Like, the Power Morpher isn't an obvious belt buckle when you look at it. It's always being held in the Ranger's hands like it's a magical object you've never seen before. But the Zeonizers are just obviously devices on your wrist, and nothing about their design feels otherworldly or like it's from a fantastical power. Especially since the Rangers don't have to wear them all the time. When they say it's Morphin time, the Zeonizers just magically show up. So if they don't need to wear them at all times, why even turn them into these devices in the first place? I don't hate them, so I'll put them in C tier, which for this video means okay. However, the Golden Power Staff I really like. The entire source of its power comes from the staff. Not only is it the Morpher, but it's the Gold Ranger's weapon that can be used as a striking weapon, as well as shooting energy blasts out of it. The only issue is that for Jason specifically, carrying around this big staff isn't exactly subtle. The Gold Ranger staff is A tier.
Go! Power Ranger Turbo, go!
Now it's time to shift into Turbo, with the Turbo Morphers. Just like the powers themselves, the Morpher is pretty unimpressive and bland, but I am a fan of needing to insert the key into the Morpher. Zordon really wanted the Rangers to be immersed with the whole car theme, I guess. But in terms of effectiveness, it seems a bit counterproductive. Like, if the Rangers need to morph at a moment's notice, it's gotta be difficult to perfectly line up the key into the ignition on your wrist. Like, I know in the show they do it perfectly every single time, but come on, man, I'm under zero pressure when I'm trying to plug in a USB cable, and I mess it up like 3 times minimum every time. So needing this pinpoint accurate plug-in under immense world-ending pressure seems a bit convoluted, Zordon. And also, the way they just appear on your wrist with the power of magic is always fun. I'll put them in B tier. Yeah, baby, it's time for my extreme bias. The Astro Morphers from Power Rangers in Space are awesome. They have a sleek and cool futuristic look. The sound they make when they flip open after saying, "Let's rock it," is music to my ears. And even the sound the voice makes when you punch in 335 is so iconic for me. In the show, they only use 335, but if you look at the Morpher itself, there's actually more codes the Rangers could use. 259 to summon the Galaxy Glider, and 541 for the Astro Megazord, just to name 2. Power Rangers in space didn't really have a theme as obvious as dinosaurs or cars, so a cool futuristic device like the Astro Morpher fits right in. Sure, you can't really hide it in public, but Andros and his original team were seemingly not heroes in hiding. Same for Zane's Digimorpher, a cool cell phone with a sleek design that you actually probably could have in public and nobody would bat an eye. It also fits Zane's character really well, a chill bro with a cell phone in the 90s. You knew that guy was cool. I'll put the Digimorpher in A tier and the Astromorphers in S tier. Listen, it's my favorite season, of course I'm gonna be a little biased. Staying in space, we got the Transmorphers from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I could have sworn they were the Galaxy Morphers. Whatever. Congrats to the Morpher, you're valid. This was the first Power Rangers toy I remember getting as a kid, and I never took it off. Its design is so unique with the golden dial and blue sphere in the center. But, if I have to be honest with myself, what is this Morpher? The power comes from the Quasar Sabers, ancient weapons that mysteriously turn into another wrist device. And you'd think that the big blue sphere would be the activation, but no. You say go galactic and then just touch the Charlie Brown pattern. You can turn the dial and have the arrows point to a color, but they only do this once in Power Rangers. That's just kinda nitpicking though. I do really love the Morpher and its unique design. It's enough to push it up to B tier for me. Then we have the Magna Defender Morpher. This thing sucks. Now listen, I know it's from Die Ranger, but I'm not judging it on that. The Magna Defender literally has a cool sword that could act as the Morpher, similar to the Gold Ranger staff. This thing, however, is just like the Turbo Morpher, but even worse. You gotta pull out a tab and then shove it into the other part on your wrist. It looks goofy when he does it every time. Again, what's the harm in yelling Magna Power while holding up a sword? The Magna Defender Morpher is our first F-tier Morpher. Heading to Lightspeed Rescue brings us to the Rescue Morphers, the first time in Power Rangers history where the Rangers' identities didn't need to be a secret. So because of that, having a wrist device on them at all times makes sense, mainly because they can reach for it at a moment's notice. Unlike a cell phone Morpher that's probably in their pockets and they gotta reach for it, if there's any kind of danger or emergency, the Rangers now just need to lift up their wrist and hit the button. It's quick and effective. The design is also fairly simple, but still sleek. The gold, blue, and red are nice complementary colors. Its simplicity is what makes this a great Morpher for the season. A tier. The Titanium Morpher is definitely more toyetic, which makes sense since it's an American creation created to literally sell more toys. Its design is memorable and you can point it out from a million miles away. You hit the button and it opens up. Pretty simple stuff. B tier. As a kid, I wasn't a huge fan of the Chronomorphers. I thought its design was super bland and boring. Although, as I've gotten older, I've grown a new appreciation for them. Just like Lightspeed Rescue, the Morphers are used by a government team known as Time Force, so it prioritizes usefulness and effectiveness over cool, fun designs. The big empty space is actually a fingerprint scanner for your DNA, making sure that only the person who was assigned to use the Morpher can use it. The design also just screams futuristic. I think it's the chrome, oval, alien-like shape to it with all the engravings. I don't know, it's like PG H.R. Geiger, if that makes any sense. A tier. Then we have the Quantum Morpher that, while iconic, and I love it to death, it's also kinda whatever in my eyes. It's voice activated, which is cool, protecting it so only Eric can use it, but it's supposed to be from the prehistoric era, the time of the dinosaurs. Power coins, I can buy, but a box that has a voice-controlled wrist device just isn't really doing it for me. C tier. The Growl Phones. You yell wild access into it and I guess it transforms into an animal, thus granting the Rangers their power. Similar to Lost Galaxy, the correlation between animal crystals and cell phones are pretty loose. I would have preferred if the crystal itself played more into the morphing. The cell phone isn't really used outside of yelling wild access into it, and of course contacting each other. I guess it does blend into their normal lives, but nothing about it really screams wild force. Same with Merrick's Lunar Collar. Actually, for him it makes even less sense. Why does he, a warrior from back in the day, need a cell phone? They're cool enough designs, however, so C tier? Alright, the Wind Morphers from Ninja Storm. It's a really cool design when the Rangers are wearing them with their ninja outfits. It blends in perfectly, putting in a power disc and shooting out a tornado. It's pretty sick. B tier. Same with the Thunder Morphers, except these ones look like beetles. A tier. And lastly, there's Cam's Samurai Amulet. I love that he's able to wear it as a necklace, easily the most hiding in plain sight morpher in franchise history. Plus it being a family heirloom and given to someone who's always wanted to be a ranger, but it was never in the cards for him, puts this in A tier.
Dino Rangers roar!
The Dinomorphers, Brachiomorpher, and Dragomorpher. I got a soft spot for him. The ability to magically appear on the wrist makes sense considering it's the Dino Gems that are the true source of its power. They're color coordinated and even got a fun little dinosaur design unique to each ranger. I can also forgive the fact that these mystical Dino Gems are being powered by a wrist strap morpher, considering Tommy did lend a hand in creating them, so he's just drawing from what he knows. Speaking of which, the Brachiomorpher is once again another thing you gotta shove a key into. However, it is Tommy that's wielding it, and he's got plenty of experience, so it all checks out. A really charming morpher that makes a really satisfying noise after you say, "Ready!"
Ready! Ready!
A tier.
Power Rangers, SPD, Power Rangers.
SPD Emergency, the Delta Morphers. These are awesome. Once again, they're government issued and prioritize function over coolness. But the Delta Morphers, in my opinion, excel in both of those fields. The sleek design is really gorgeous. It's simple, but effective. This looks like something a futuristic cop would have on them at all times. They're also multi-use, being a phone to contact others, the ability to judge a culprit to see if they're truly guilty, and of course, morph. I love when the Delta Morphers activates, the bottom part opens up like a cop's badge. You know, flashing the ID to everyone to show you're official. And the icing on the cake are the flashing sirens on top. These morphers are cool, simple, and effective. S tier. But you know what's not an S tier? The Omega Morpher. This stupid wrist strap that has a motorcycle throttle on it. Sam always looks so dumb revving this thing up to give him his power. What a terrible thing to happen to a ranger. F tier. The Mystic Morpher from Mystic Force is a nice one. They're actually wands that Udana specifically transformed to take on the shape of a cell phone, so they could carry them around with them in their day-to-day lives. So they're once again multi-use, contacting the others, morphing, as well as being a magic wand to cast spells with. Its design is very similar to the Growl phones in Wild Force. B tier. Then there's Udana's Snow Staff. This is the perfect morpher, a powerful artifact that doesn't need to be concealed, doubling as a weapon and a morpher. A tier. The Solar Cell Morpher. Oh boy. I got a lot of guff for crapping on this in my Mystic Force video. People were saying that Daggeron is train themed, which I totally get, but it's the fact that he's train themed in this wizard season, and that's what's stupid. Especially considering we never see a train during his flashbacks. He has no relation to trains in any way. So yeah, his stupid hole punch morpher punching his train ticket is still lame. F tier.
Operation Overdrive.
The Overdrive trackers are surprisingly not too awful. Its design is pretty basic. Once again, another cell phone, but I like the way it flips open. Plus, to activate it, you need to run the wheel on the bottom against any kind of surface. Wheel does it in a lot of cool ways, and it is unique compared to most of the morphers that are just saying a morphing call and hitting a button. It also opens up at a 90-degree angle to scan things, which helps in treasure hunting. Its simplistic cell phone design also works lore-wise considering it's a man-made creation. What can I say? It's multi-use, unique, and it's got the wheelie thing! I dig it. B tier. The Mercury Morpher. I don't know, man, it's pretty bulky to wear on your wrist, and looks like it would just get in the way. The top part flips open just for Taizan to press a button. Why is there a cover on it, to protect it from the dust? I don't know, it's kinda like old cell phones. They're really bulky and unwieldy. This should not be the final form. D tier.
Here comes the Power Rangers, Jungle Fury.
Here come the Power Rangers Jungle Fury. With their stupid sunglasses. The Solar Morphers, which is a really awkward name for a martial arts season. Yeah, these are dumb. Color-coordinated sunglasses that you activate by doing a martial arts kata. Like, what's the point of the glasses? Again, ancient martial arts being activated by Ray-Bans. Apparently in Geki Ranger, they'd put on these gauntlets, which at least makes sense for why they need to do all of this. The sunglasses are lame, plain and simple. Easy F tier. RJ's Wolf Morpher is a bit of a step up. I like the wolf design and the purple is a nice color. I guess the idea is that he needs to open up the Morpher to unleash his animal spirit. A big step up from the sunglasses, but overall it's just kinda there. So C tier, maybe B tier, I don't really know. The Rhino Morpher is a little goofy. A simple wristband that transforms into a big rhino arm. This is a bit too much for me. It's a cool weapon, but as a Morpher, it's just never done anything for me personally. Sorry. D tier. The Cell Shift Morpher. At this point in my childhood, I was definitely feeling cell phone Morpher fatigue. In terms of its design, it's very basic, which again, lore-wise does make sense. But to make it unique, I do enjoy needing to pop in the engine cell like it's an NES cartridge to power it up. I like to imagine sometimes it doesn't work, so they gotta pull it out and blow on it. They're alright. B tier. The Rev Morphers are a little less impressive. You wear it on your wrist and need to plop the stick into drive. That's about it. C tier. The Sky Morphers are like those things cops use to track your speed. These ones also have an engine cell, but its design is kinda dumb. C tier. Alright, my favorite group of samurais that consist of 0 Japanese people. We got the Samurizers. Again, another friggin' cell phone, but I love how these things work. The Rangers need to master symbol power, which is essentially learning the proper strokes of kanji. The Samurizers act like an old school paintbrush that allows them to write in the air and bring the symbol power to life. I'm gonna put these ones in B tier. However, Lauren was the only ranger to have a different Samuraizer, the one from Shinkenger that actually resembles a paintbrush. See? There's a little point right there. This one goes in S tier, easily, combining both the traditional and modern. The other Samurizers fully embrace the modern cell phone look, which I'm not a fan of, considering this season relies heavily on old school traditions. I also love how in Samurai, the actors are usually just waving their arms around while the real symbols appear. Antonio's Samurai Morpher. What a creative name. This one's alright, I guess. He made it from scratch, but they took away the one thing that made this unique. Yeah, the arm waving, making this just another fine cell phone Morpher. C tier. Oh boy, we're finally here! The Gosei Morphers. Giant tiki heads that you insert cards into. It's like a randomizer of objects. It sounds like an angry video game nerd bit. Alright, here's a Morpher where you need to insert jalapenos into a forklift. What were they thinking? So Gosei is their mentor. He's a giant tiki head, and I guess he's so arrogant because he made these Morphers in his own image. You pull down his mouth and put the cards in there. There's not only Ranger cards, but Weapon and Zord cards as well. I really do like the concept of cards being used in Power Rangers. Heck, I'm honestly surprised it took them this long to get here. Especially since you could sell tons of unique cards to kids. Just look at what I got here. I'm the target audience. It's also like impossible to sneak this into school and carry it around day to day. Like, Gosei was not thinking of these teenagers' lives when giving them the Morpher. The Gosei Morpher does stand out, I'll give it that. Line it up next to all the Morphers and you'll most likely notice it first. I have a weird attachment to it because the cards are kinda cool, so C tier. Robo Knight's Robo Morpher. He's fine, a very basic cell phone that he claps down and that's it. I don't remember it doing anything significant. D tier. Ho, but hold on now, because with Super Mega Force, we got the legendary Morpher. Now, I'm showing off the Mobirit because that's just what I have, but man, this is such a cool Morpher. No, it doesn't play into the theme of the show. The Rangers are now just all of a sudden pirates and we gotta deal with it. It flips open like a cell phone, but the Ranger keys are some of the coolest tools in Power Rangers. They line the command center walls, and I guess the Rangers just have to think of the powers and it'll appear in their belt buckles. They're cute little action figures that flip open to reveal a key. Put it into the Morpher and it transforms you into that legendary Ranger. This is such a cool thing. The figures also make for some cool decorations, with an incentive to actually collect them all. This season, total ass, but the legendary Morpher easily goes in S tier. The legendary Silver Morpher, which is a stupid name, has a similar concept. Put in a Ranger key and go crazy. I do like that the buttons all have a 6th Ranger on them, but the Morpher design itself leaves a lot to be desired. A tier, yeah, I said it. It's the Dino Charge Morpher. This thing goes pretty hard considering it's just a big gun. Yeah, the little spinny thing right here feels like you got a big revolver. The Morpher acts as both a Morpher and a blaster. Naturally. It's powered by the Energems. They have a cool look to them. They just radiate top secret powers. You pop in the Energem, spin the spinny thing, and shoot it up in the air. Just like in Operation Overdrive, I love me a good spinny thing. And just like the Megaforce cards, I'm surprised it's taken this long to have guns as a morpher. Yeah, the gang can't really conceal this thing in their civilian lives, but it's got a fun dinosaur design, is creative and unique, and again, it's a gun. S tier. The Gold Terra Morpher. This is not a gun, therefore it's pretty mid. C tier. The Ninja Battle Morpher. Oh brother, this thing stinks! This thing is a big unwieldy shape that you need to put a ninja power star in. Talk about a morpher you can't hide in plain sight. This thing is not only unable to be hidden, but it just looks lame. The Rangers don't look cool facing off with an enemy only to bust out a star. Heck, it's not even a star, it's only got 4 points. What a failure of a morpher. Same with the Gold Ranger one. F tier. Both of them. The Master Morpher is interesting, although unlike the original Mighty Morphin one, it is a bit bland. The big green space in the center just feels incomplete when there's not another coin being used. C tier. The Beast X Morphers are alright. Government official morphers that do have a bit of a serious edge to them. It doesn't look like a straight up toy at first glance. It's another thing where you need to insert a key to activate it. It also looks cool when the Rangers are morphed, becoming an official way to summon their weapons. B tier. The Striker Morpher is very unoriginal and absolutely forgetful. It doesn't do anything wrong or invoke me with anger. It's just there. C tier. The Dino Fury Morpher. It feels like a bit of an extension of the Dino Thunders, a cool wrist device that has a corresponding dinosaur design on them. They're activated by the Dino Fury keys, and as we already mentioned, keys that look like action figures are awesome. You flip them up and boom, it's the key. It's also got the spinny thing. Keys and spinny things? Oh my god, it's checking all the boxes. And because of that, these morphers are S tier. Then we got the Moza Blaster for Ion. It's a gun that's also used as a morpher. As we established, I like that, but this blaster itself is, I don't know, it's just a blaster. It's not really creative or unique like the Dino Charge ones. Also no spinny thing. B tier. The Cosmic Morpher. I actually like a lot of what Cosmic Fury does. You put it on your wrist and place the Cosmic Orb inside to give it its power. I like that the Cosmic Orbs finally play a real part in the Morpher, as opposed to it just transforming into said Morpher, like the Dino Gems transforming into the Dino Thunder Morpher. I like when they spin it on their fingers and launch it into the air. The dinosaur design is a nice homage to their previous powers. When the Cosmic Orb lands inside, you hit the switch, bing bang boom. Good stuff. A tier. And lastly, we have Heckle's Spino Boomerang. All of Heckle's backstory is apparently referenced in the comics, which I haven't read, but hey, a unique weapon that doubles as a morpher. It's cool you gotta hold it up in the air and bend it. Probably feels powerful to do that. A tier. Bonus round time, baby! First up are the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie morphers. They're not too different from the TV show ones, but the buckles themselves are much bigger and even color coordinated. For movie, I'll admit, I do kinda like it and it fits for the big screen, but ultimately the original's designs win in every way. Although, if I did get this as a toy, I wouldn't complain. C tier. Oh, but if you want to see some garbage morphers, then the 2017 Power Rangers movie has got you covered. I don't even think they use these as morphers. It's such an ugly design, this swirly gray blob with the power coins shoved inside. The suits just appear on your body like Iron Man nanotech or something, after the coins have bonded to your body. How are you not gonna use the morphers in a Power Rangers movie? Also, if you're going to make toys for children and they don't even use real morphers in the movie, why not take some creative liberty to make these more appealing? I mean, what kid is gonna look at this inside of a Target and say, yeah, Power Rangers, I sure want this thing. F tier all the way. I mean, even the next morphers are higher on the list. The Bulk and Skull, Burger, and Hot Dog morpher. Yeah, again, not really super legit considering they only appeared in one episode of the show, during a dream sequence. As you might expect, the morphers are just a hamburger and hot dog prop. However, apparently in the comic, Ranger Operator series Bulk and Skull would become a real thing. becoming the Orange and Purple Ranger respectively. So you know what? Just for Bulk and Skull, and their Burgersaurus and Dogosaurus, S tier. Then there's the Hyperforce Morpher. Hyperforce was an interesting concept. It was a D&D-like series on YouTube. I think it was technically canon and a bit of a sequel or spiritual successor to Time Force. Despite just being a D&D series, they actually did get a morphing sequence and morphers, which is pretty cool. According to the wiki, because I haven't watched much of Hyperforce, the Hyperforce Morpher is a 31st century prototype design created 15 to 16 years after the events of Time Force, and it's the successor to the Chronomorpher. Unlike the Chronomorpher, which relies on DNA biolock imprints, the Hyperforce Morpher operates on a card system to activate and transform. A secondary function of these morphers, like its predecessor the Chronomorpher, is that they use pocket dimension technology to act as a storage unit for the Ranger's weapons, which can be called upon at any given moment. So, thumbs up! They're a sequel to the Chronomorphers and use cards, which I like. In the show, they're a bit too bulky, but hey, for a true 100% Power Rangers creation, I'll give it some love. A tier. And with that, we've gone through every mainline morpher. Sure, there's power-up morphers, I guess, like the Battleizers, the Black Box, and whatever this is. But I wanted to focus on the main ones that everyone recognizes and actually cares about. Morphers are always going to be one of Power Rangers and Super Sentai's best things. Even as an adult, nothing feels cooler than holding these in your hands and hoping you get jumped by a horde of alien creatures made of clay. Let me know where you rank all these morphers, and which one is your favorite, which one's your least, all that good stuff. I got more of these deep dive ranking videos planned for the future, so stay on the lookout. Bye bye now.